Listen, I think Paul George didn't want to say this. He wanted out of Indiana. Larry Bird left. They had tried different ways to construct a team that could get to a championship. I think more than he wants to be back in LA, he wanted out of Indiana. I don't think he believed in what the Pacers were doing. And again, that's no shot at Kevin Pritchard. That's just where I think Paul George landed. He gets to Oklahoma City. They're going to roll out the red carpet for a year. Russell Westbrook's going to be on his best behavior. He's a young guy. Still relatively young. If they have success and he and Russell Westbrook hit it off, I can see a scenario where he signs for another year or two or whatever to stay in OKC to play this thing out before just running off to LA.
Yeah, I could see it too. I said when he got traded that if they get to the conference finals, maybe there's a chance to stay, or obviously the finals. Maybe even second round, you finish 4th seed, you lose to Golden State in a tough 6 or 7 game series. Maybe you could stay, because I was hearing throughout the offseason that his number one priority was to win. Yeah, he wanted to go to LA, play in his hometown, but number one was win. And that's why Cleveland was willing to give up a perennial all-star in Kevin Love to get him. They felt like they could keep him. The one caveat is, why didn't he send that message to Boston and let them know, look, if we're good, they would be good. I'll stay. Maybe he didn't want to be in the conference with LeBron James. I don't know. But I think there's a chance if they have a great season. He said it himself.
For me, have we not all paid attention to what just recently took place with KD leaving and all this? When you look at...
When they went to the finals together, KD and Russ? I do remember that.
With him leaving and what transpired. Paul George saw that. Man, you looking at Oklahoma, one of the most loyal fan bases in all of sport. Not just professional sport, because they just got the OKC Thunder, but sport. Loyal fans. Paul George is no fool. He's not going to say, you know what? Matter of fact, let me see. He says, if we get a killer season, and then he goes on to say, or if we do something crazy, like end up in the conference, like something crazy. If all this stuff happened, then maybe I might stay. But my point is, why would he say anything different?
Exactly.
Why would he say anything different? He didn't make the decision to go. He got traded. If it were up to him, I don't know if we see him in this. When it happened, we're all looking like, okay, see, why would he? Does it make sense? Is it a good fit?
No, Greg is 100% right. This is lip service to the fans and to the new franchise. He's saying all the right things, giving off the vibe that he wants to be there. I would say his chances of staying are about as good as mine winning the lottery, which is basically none. No chance. No chance. Hold on, Broussard.
If they get to the conference finals, Lonzo Ball's a bust in year one. They win 31 games.
You forget.
He's going there.
Kevin Durant and Russ went to the conference finals. They went to the finals before that. And he still left OKC.
Durant went to Golden State.
Yes,
he didn't go to a Lakers team in the lottery.
That's a very fair point. However,
just ask.
You're talking about Russell Westbrook and possibly changing. This is a guy who led the league in shots last year.
You act like Westbrook's
the most
terrible.
shots per game since Kobe. When Kobe was jacking
he's
for
not going to do that next year.
I don't think this has anything.
He's going to lead the league in shot attempts.
I don't think this has anything to do with Westbrook. I think he respects his game. We all know what he brings to the table as far as a player goes. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, what players are looking at is how can I increase and advance my brand? Paul George has never been in a huge market. OKC is not a huge market. Indiana is not a huge market. To have an opportunity to put on that Laker uniform and you say, if Lonzo Ball is a bust, he can't become a bust if he does what we know he can do best, which is facilitate.
In year one, look, I think he's going to be good. I'm saying in year one, if he doesn't play that well, if they win 31 games, finish 12th in the West, and no one else will go to L.A. with him, if LeBron doesn't go there, if Westbrook doesn't go with you, if Chris Paul, any of these other free agents don't go to L.A. with you, why in the world would Paul George go to L.A.?
So why would you stay
miss
in OKC?
the playoffs?
Because what Chris said, his number one agenda, and Greg, I'm sure you can relate to this, is winning. The locker room is a miserable place. Going to work when you're losing and getting your brains beat in, that's a miserable work experience. And so if they win 54 games next year and are a real threat in the postseason, and Sam Presti and these guys say, hey, look, we're going to add one more piece and make a run at it next year. Why? Winning is the great deodorant. Winning builds your brand better than the uniform you're playing in. Isaiah Thomas is, not Isaiah Thomas, but there's Anthony Davis, great player playing with the Pelicans.
OKC.
Yeah. Oh, but look how big Durant's brand was in OKC because they were winning and a threat. Listen, again, there is a little bit of a lottery factory to this.
Certainly.
Certain things have to happen. Westbrook's got to adjust a little bit.
A lot.
They got to win, and, he's got to fall in love with Oklahoma, and that's tough.
No, to your
but
point,
it could
though,
happen.
Listen, with social media in 2017, you can build a brand anywhere. Milwaukee, it doesn't matter. But again, I keep going back to this. Last year on the show, I said, I believe Russell Westbrook is like Dwight Howard. Nobody wants to play with him. We saw Reggie Jackson have beef, Serge Ibaka, Kevin Durant. Reggie Jackson wanted the same minutes.
Reggie Jackson is proof.
They shipped him out. What happened to Victor Oladipo? We get Victor Oladipo last year.
I never saw Victor Oladipo turn into that type of
You bringing up Jackson? You haven't even mentioned. If you say Durant, I'll give you some love.
We don't need to say Durant.
You mentioned Oladipo and Reggie Jackson.
Ibaka.
And Serge Ibaka.
Exactly. About playing with Russell. Sabonis, toss Sabonis in there.